you've talked all over the world. You speak to men, and you kind of can be able to tie in a common thread. What is the common thread, Jimmy, that you see right now that are challenging or hurting men in 2025?
Yeah, I think that men are looking for purpose in life. They're looking to really have guidance about how they're supposed to live. What does it look like to be a man today? We've come through a generation or two of essentially fatherlessness. Where we've had an increasing number of households, kids are raised without their biological father, which is problematic. An increasing number of households, don't know what it means to be a man. And now we've got this, and in fact, many of our young kids as they've grown up have been told that it's bad to be a boy. It's bad to be a boy. You should be more like a girl.
Yep.
And so now we've created this educational system which primarily tailors to educating girls who are able to sit in a classroom for long, extended periods of time. And we know that boys don't learn that way, generally speaking. So we've told them that their masculinity, the way they're wired with a little more aggressive nature, potentially more courage, more risk-taking, they've been told that all that's bad. And unfortunately, that is actually the way they're designed. Boys and girls are different. Men and women are different. So they've been told for years and years kind of not to be a boy, not to be a man. So they're confused about what that looks like. So I think today now we've got a huge opportunity because young men by the millions are pursuing what it means to be a real man. Now, there's a lot of different messages that they can get, and there's some good messages out there, and there's some destructive messages out there, but I think that's where you enter in that faith component. You enter in this, you've been created a certain way for a certain reason.
Yeah.
You've been made this way. You've been designed this way. You're a complement to women, and there's a particular role that you are designed to play. Let's help you discover that. Let's help you step up into that. Let's help you fulfill your greatest potential.
It's so true, so profound, and so obvious when you look at it. I've got, as we've talked about before, 2 boys, 9 and 6, and then our little princess girl, Alea, is 4. But our middle kiddo, Callan, is just finished half-day kindergarten at a St. Classical Academy where he's at, and he is rambunctious. He's everything you just said, right?
Absolutely.
He talks out. He is smart as hell.
Yes.
And all he wants to do is have a zest for life and run around and enjoy it.
Yes.
And it's such a struggle to go, all right, he can't be speaking up too much in class and disrupting. So they tried to quell a little bit of that. He was at dance with my wife all week this week, and he's speaking out in classes. My wife is just so frustrated by it. But we both look at that and say, if we pull that zest and mini masculinity out of him at 6 years old, he'll never be the same.
No.
So it's such a challenge. I mean, how do we bridge that gap?
I think it's a great problem to have. I think it is interesting because, boys learn in motion, and so the longer they are forced to sit without motion, the less likely they are to learn. The more likely they are to be acting out, speaking out, being disruptive, as we would say, because we want them to behave. We want so desperately for our kids to behave, which in a sense is good, but in a sense is really nonsense. And what we've discovered now is your son would be a candidate for medication.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, 100%. This kid has, emotional, behavioral problems. Let's put him on ADHD, ADD nonsense. What most of our kids have is ODD. We have an outside deficit disorder. They're not outside enough. They're inside too much. And I would say if they would convert that classroom to an outdoor learning center, that kid would be the top of the class. He would learn. He would flourish. In fact, we've seen this happen. Whenever we change the learning environment to meet the needs of boys, they thrive. So you're going to be faced with a decision, actually. You're going to be faced with a decision to keep him in a school that may keep him in a classroom where he's not going to thrive. Or changing his environment entirely, whether that's homeschooling, which millions of people across the country have done especially over the last 4 or 5 years, or whether you're going to find an environment that really doesn't see his demeanor as a problem. They see the learning environment as something to change to meet his needs.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge, and that's very poignant. When I look at We're at a classical school.
Yeah.
I know how much you value classical school.
Yes.
Did you homeschool your kids?
Big time. We've experienced every type of education,
There you go.
actually, from homeschooling early to a private non-sectarian school to a religious private school to public school. So we've seen it all.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll talk about your kids. Your kids are
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. So that's the good point is, we want him to have that classical education.
Yes.
We definitely don't want to be in public school, especially in
Yes.
this day and age.
Yes.
But there's going to come a point when he's learning Greek
Oh, yeah.
and wanting to be outside that we may have to make that decision.
Yeah. And he'll come to life in that environment. I learned early with my kids and even my daughter who, there's a continuum of femininity. There's a continuum of masculinity, and not every boy is going to be a warrior. Not every girl is going to be a princess. There's a continuum, and it's a beautiful design. I think about the different archetypes for men, from king to warrior to lover to explorer to builder to creator. They're very different. And I would say when I look at my three sons, they have a natural proclivity for one particular aspect of that design. And so we accentuate that. But at the same time, we've told them, hey, there are other aspects of masculinity that are going to help you be complete. Be that protector, be that provider, be the presider over your family someday. And the same is true for women. So, you want to call out the way they're naturally made, and then you want to encourage them in the areas that they can grow.
John Lovell, I'm not sure if you've ever heard
Oh,
of
yeah,
him.
he's fantastic.
He's got his book, The Warrior Poet Way.
Yes.
And The Warrior Poet Society. That book
Yes.
is exactly what you just articulated,
Yes.
right? Your son needs to be a warrior, capable of violence,
Capable.
while at the same time being a poet,
Yes.
treating the women the way they need to be treated.
Yes.
So, and that is what I definitely aspire to.